Fats is fats is fats. Whether it comes from avocados, freaking ice cream, pizza, cheeseburgers, a fat is a fat. Calories dictate how much you weigh. Macros dictate what you look like. If you are trying to lose weight, more specifically lose fat, you need to start counting your calories and you need to start tracking your macros. The best way to do so is to download the MyFitnessPal app. This is the best way, the simplest way. You go into the app, you put in your information, your age, your current weight, height, all that mumbo jumbo, and it'll tell you what are your maintenance calories, and it will give you your target goal if you're trying to lose weight. And so I'm going to use an example. Let's say somebody weighs 230. Their maintenance calories are 2,300. So in order to lose weight, in order to lose fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. As in, you got to consume less calories than your maintenance calories. So in this example, someone who weighs 230 pounds, their maintenance calorie is 2,300 calories a day. If they were to continue to eat 2,300 calories every day, they're going to continue to weigh 230 pounds. And that is taking into consideration your activity level, right? And so this is just an example, but let's say this is the scenario. You enter all the information into your MyFitnessPal, and this is what it gives you, right? And so you got to be in a calorie deficit. Again, calories dictate how much you weigh. You're currently at 230. Your calories are 2,300. You're trying to lose weight. Let's say you're shooting for 200 pounds. And let's say the app tells you you should be at 1,800 calories per day. So your deficit is about 500 calories. You got to eat 500 calories less than your maintenance calories. And so, again, in this example, it's 1,800 calories. Now, the app might tell you, the app might give you a certain macro breakdown percentage of the 1,800 calories. This percentage should be protein, this percentage should be carbs, this percentage should be fats. Which is great because it does it for you. You don't have to think. You just plug away and it tells you whatever. And then within that app, you can use it to track your food. Anything you consume throughout the day, you just plug it in or you scan the barcode and it'll tell you how much calories it has and the breakdown of the macros. And you do that every day until you hit your goal, right? Now for this example, I'm going to use my own macro breakdown because again, calories dictate how much you weigh, macros dictate what you look like. For this example, you're 230 pounds. You're trying to go down to 200 pounds. And so the example that I am going to use is, the rule of thumb is you want to use 1 gram of protein per body weight. And this is in order to preserve as much muscle as possible. Because in losing weight, you're going to lose some muscle, and so the idea is to preserve as much muscle as you can. And so again, and you can Google this, the rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per body weight. And so if your target weight is 200 pounds, then 1 gram of protein per body weight, ideal body weight, 200 pounds, would be 200 grams of protein that you got to consume every day. Now, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So 200 grams of protein times 4 is 800 calories. You got to consume 800 calories worth of protein in order to preserve as much muscle as possible during your fat loss. All right, so we got the protein out of the way. The next one is your fats. And so, again, you can Google this as well. A healthy percentage or a healthy fats in order to keep your hormonal balance within your body and so you can function properly would be 0.3 grams to 0.5 grams. I'm going to go on the low end and use 0.3 grams per body weight. So 3.3 grams of fat per body weight. So if we go back to the example, 200 pounds, 0.3 grams times 200 comes out to 60 grams. And so every gram of fat is 9 calories. And this is why you need to watch your fats. Because fats is fats is fats. Whether it comes from avocados, freaking ice cream, pizza, cheeseburgers, a fat is a fat. I hear this a lot. Avocados are good fat, blah, blah, blah. So then they're eating avocados all day, every day. And they're consuming like freaking 1,000 calories worth of fats. And they're wondering why they're not losing weight. Well, it's because you're still consuming fats. Whether it's good or bad, whatever, a fat is a fat. And so anyways, 0.3 grams of fat per body weight. 200 pounds. That comes out to 60 grams of fat per day that you need to consume. So 60 times 9 calories is 540 calories. So every day, 540 calories needs to come out of fats, right? And so then we get the 800 calories of protein added to the 540 calories of fats, add it up, and then you subtract it from your daily calorie intake that you should be at, 1800. And that comes out to about 460 calories of carbs. And so you just kind of fill that in, you make it up, and so that'll get you at 1800 calories. And so for this breakdown, the macro breakdown is going to be 45% protein, 25% carbs, and 30% fats. And so this breakdown, and everybody's going to be different. So don't go home and start plugging this up, this percentage, because it's specific to this example, and it's specific to fat loss while preserving muscle. And so if you don't weigh 230 and you're trying to get it 200, it might work, it might not work. And this is just an example again. And so let's run with it. And so now you have your 1800 calories. You're at a 500 calorie deficit. You start at 2300. Now you're 18, right? And now we have our macros breakdown: protein, carbs, fats. Protein, 800 calories. Carbs, 460 calories. And fats is 540 calories, making up the 1800 calories. All right. And so now you're basically good to go. You're good to run this, to eat this way for the next, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month. I would say keep this up for 3 weeks and go from there. If you are dropping weight, then keep using it until you plateau or until you reach your goal. Let's say you reach your goal. You were at 230, now you're at 200. And if you continue eating this way, you're going to lose more and more weight. So what you need to do is what is called a reverse diet. And so all you got to do from here, and all this is easy. I'm trying to simplify everything. There's a lot more involved. And so if you don't know what you're doing, this is the best way for me to simplify it for you to just go ahead and do it yourself, as opposed to reaching out to somebody. Preferably, you would reach out to somebody who knows what they're doing, who knows how to tweak, how to manipulate the macros in order to look the way that you want. Because again, calories dictate how much you weigh, macros dictate what you look like. And so if you're at 1800 calories now and you continue the same breakdown of the macros and you lost weight, but you're losing weight, you're at 200. Again, and if you want to stay at 200, then you need to do the reverse diet. All you got to do now is get the 1800 calories and times that times 10%. So you're going to add 180 calories to your current calories. What's that? 1980 calories. And so now instead of 18, you're going 1980. You're going to be consuming 1980 80 calories a day. You're going to run this for 2 weeks. And again, if you plateau, or if you are continuing to lose weight, then just add another 10%. But do this in 2-week blocks. That way you can see how these macros, how these calories are affecting you, if you're continuing to drop weight or not. And so, and adding the calories, you're going to continue using the same macro breakdown. And so again, use the app. The app is going to help you a lot. That way you don't got to do the math. I did the math beforehand, and so I kind of know. But if you try and do it on your own, it's a little complicated. So use the app. And again, let's say you're at 1980 and you're still losing a little bit of weight, but it's at a slower pace. And so let's say you're at 195 and you're like, oh crap, I need to up my calories again. So then you just add 10% again to the 1980 calories. And then you keep adding 10% every 2 weeks until you go back to 200 pounds, if that is your desired weight. It could be that you, in running the 1800 calories a day, I don't know, you drop down to 195 and you like how 195 feels. You look good at 195 and you just want to keep it there. All you got to do is maintain that calorie daily intake, and that's it. It's not rocket science, especially if you have the app. And so the best way, again, the best way to figure out your daily calorie intake is to use the app, as opposed to you shooting in the dark and figuring out, okay, well, maybe my daily calorie intake is 2,500 and you know, maybe I need to go down to freaking 1,500 calories. To me, that's a little extreme. You could do that theoretically. But again, why take a shot in the dark when you can just use the app and then go from there? And that's it. Again, it's not rocket science. That's all there is to this. So if you have any questions, hit me up, DM me, reach out. But keep this in mind. Calories will always dictate your weight, and macros will always dictate how you look. So with all that being said, let's work.